So the Sonos Ace are a good first try from Sonos. I really like their build quality, I like their case, and I like that you can use their USB-C port as a wired connection. However, these headphones struggle when it comes to sound, active noise cancellation, the ambient mode, and microphone for phone calls. Nonetheless, today we're going to see how the Sonos Ace compare to both the Sony 1000XM5s and the Sony 1000XM4s. Regarding pricing, there is a considerable Sonos tax here. The Sonos Ace retail for $450, and for me, it is very hard to justify these headphones. Whereas the Sony 1000XM5s have a retail price of $400, and the Sony 1000XM4s have a retail price of $350. And both of these headphones like to routinely go on sale now. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these headphones up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up some merch. We have trucker hats, snapbacks, and shirts, and everything is printed on higher quality products, so they're gonna last you a good while. And by buying merch, that helps us produce more independent versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's bought a shirt or a hat, and let's get subscribed. So first, there's the case. Now, both the Sonos and XM5s are lay-flat headphones, meaning that their cases are going to have a larger footprint compared to a pair of fully collapsible headphones like the 1000XM4s. However, Sonos' case here is surprisingly thin, so storing this case in your backpack isn't as big of a hassle as you'd think. And I really like that this case is way smaller than the XM5's case, because this case is just very inconvenient to travel with. But overall, all of these cases are hardshell cases, and they're all going to do a good job of protecting your headphones while they're in your cramped backpack, especially if you plan on flying with these headphones. But with the cases out of the way, let's talk about the headphones themselves. Now, the Sonos feel a lot sturdier and a lot more premium than both of Sony's headphones. The plastic just feels denser, the arms feel stiffer, and the leatherette feels more luxurious. And the earpads on the Sonos magnetically detach. However, the improved build quality on the Sonos Ace does mean that they weigh noticeably more than Sony's headphones. The Sonos Ace weigh in at 312 grams, which isn't as bad as the AirPod Max, which weigh in at 380 grams, but the Ace are noticeably heavier than the XM4s, which weigh in at 255 grams, and the XM5s, which weigh in at 250 grams. So with the Sonos Ace, these are a pair of headphones that you're really going to feel shifting around on your head while you're walking around with them on, and you don't really forget that you're wearing these headphones when you're sitting with them while at your desk or while in bed. Whereas with the Sony's headphones, they're a lot less noticeable, which is great for just overall comfort. But when it comes to the overall fit of these headphones, first off, both of Sony's headphones have a slightly less clamping force than the Sonos, meaning that they have a looser fit. But nonetheless, all of these headphones are big hit approved. And something that I like about the Sonos is that their headband is a little wider and has a little more padding than the headband on the XM5s. So hotspots are not an issue for these headphones like with the XM5s. And I really like how spacious the earpads on the Sonos are compared to both of Sony's headphones. Now, I think the XM4s will fit most people just fine, but with the XM5s, even though these earpads have a big diameter to them, they are pretty shallow. So shallow that even average size ears like mine get pressed down, which can get uncomfortable after a while. But something that you do need to look out for on the Sonos is going to be heating. The earpads on the Sonos has a lot of surface area that comes in contact with your skin. This padding is also fairly soft, and the padding does like to collect heat rather easily. So with the Sonos, these earpads can heat up a little faster than the earpads found on Sony's headphones. But overall, fit-wise, I think the Sony 1000XM4s are the most comfortable headphones here because they're lightweight, their earpads are fairly spacious, and they have a slightly looser fit. The Sonos fit well, but you are going to have to deal with the added weight, and the Sony 1000XM5s aren't my favorite because of their shallow earpads. Now, when it comes to tech specs, all of these headphones have an advertised battery life of 30 hours with their active noise cancellation turned on, and you can always extend their battery life by using all of these headphones with their active noise cancellation turned off. And with all of these headphones, they all have a slightly above average battery life for premium ANC headphones in 2024. And to charge all of these headphones, they charge via a USB-C port, as they should. However, this is the only port that you'll find on the Sonos Ace, but you can always use this USB-C port as a wired connection, and they come included with a USB-C to audio jack cable. So you can still always use these headphones with a wired connection if you're on an airplane. However, with both of Sony's headphones, you can't use their USB-C ports as a wired connection, but they both have 3.5mm audio jacks and they both come with audio cables. But more importantly, you can always use both of Sony's headphones passively, as in they don't have to be powered on if you want to use them with a wired connection. Whereas with the Sonos Ace, even if you want to use these headphones with a wired connection, they have to be powered on, which is something that I feel frequent flyers really need to pay attention to. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these headphones can be connected to any two Bluetooth devices at the same time, regardless of ecosystem, which is good if you're a power user with, let's say, an iPhone and a Windows PC. And when it comes to overall performance, all of these headphones have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. But with the Sonos Ace, I have noticed some rare random disconnections, so hopefully Sonos can just fix this through a future firmware update. Now, when it comes to audio codecs, the Sonos Ace has support for SBC, AAC, and aptX, whereas both of Sony's headphones have support for SBC, AAC, and LDAC, which is Sony's own in-house high-res audio codec. Just keep in mind that if you want to use either LDAC or aptX, you do have to be an Android user because iPhones top out at AAC, and if you do decide to use LDAC, that is going to take an additional toll on the battery life. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Now, simply put, the Sonos Ace don't sound all that great. These headphones lean towards a very bright sound signature, and their bass is very flat. So due to these headphones' very bright sound signature, their vocals are super emphasized, but the instrumentals lack detail, and their bass has no kick to it, and it doesn't resonate all that much either. So as a result, these headphones are not all that much fun to listen to, and due to their lack of bass, watching movies with these headphones isn't all that much fun either. Now, you can always go in and adjust their EQ, but even if you try to adjust their EQ, these headphones aren't going to sound all that great. Whereas with both of Sony's headphones, I have always felt that the Sony 1000XM4s are people pleasers. These have good instrument separation. If you like a brighter sound signature, you can do that, or if you like a warmer sound signature, you can also do that. And more importantly, these have a decent amount of kick in their bass, so you're actually going to be able to feel your bass, which is going to make listening to music or watching movies a lot more fun, especially compared to the Sonos Ace. And then there are the Sony 1000XM5s, and these have slightly better clarity and detail, and they sound a little more open than the 1000XM4s. However, these have a little less kick in their bass than the XM4s. From a technical standpoint, the XM5s sound better than the XM4s, but I think your average person is going to prefer the XM4s because of the additional kick in the bass. And like I said in the full review, I can only recommend the Sonos Ace to people who feel that Bose's headphones have too much bass. Now, when it comes to the media controls on these headphones, the Sony are using touchpads. Now, these touchpads are very accurate and they're easy to use, but they aren't perfect. Whereas the Sonos Ace are using a slider. If you press this button in, you can skip through your music, and if you slide it up or down, you can raise or lower your volume. Overall, this is a great option for someone that just doesn't want to deal with touchpads. And all of these headphones have wear sensors, so when you take them off, they'll automatically pause your music, and when you put them back on, they'll start playing your music again. Now, personally, I don't really care for wear sensors on my headphones, so I usually just turn them off, but they're there if you want them. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Now, the Sonos Ace block out a lot of noise, which is great, but the Sonos Ace have a lot of cabin pressure. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to go ahead and jump into an ANC test. So like you may have just seen, if you look at the charts, the Sonos Ace has the lowest numbers here. But in real life, and if you actually use these headphones, I actually feel the Sonos Ace block out a little less noise than the Sony 1000XM4s, which are 4 years old now. But then there's the question of the atmospheric pressure sensors on both of Sony's headphones. While at cruising altitude, both the XM4s and XM5s are able to optimize their active noise cancellation to compensate for the lowered atmospheric pressure. This means both of Sony's headphones are able to block out more noise while on an airplane than other headphones. Most recently, I was shocked to see that the Sony 1000XM4s are able to block out more noise while flying than the Bose QC Ultra. So what I'm saying is both of Sony's headphones block out more noise than the Sonos Ace while on the ground, and it's very likely that they're going to block out a lot more noise than the Sonos Ace while in an airplane. But the main issue with the ANC on the Sonos Ace is that it has a lot of cabin pressure. So with these, you feel discomfort on your eardrums, and you might even feel a little disorientation when walking with them. So overall, yes, the Sonos Ace block out a lot of noise, but both of Sony's headphones block out more noise, and it's highly likely that they're going to block out a lot more noise while at cruising altitude thanks to their atmospheric pressure sensors. But more importantly, both of Sony's headphones have a lot less cabin pressure than the Sonos, which leads to overall better comfort. But then there's the Ambient Mode on these headphones. The Ambient Mode on the Sonos Ace gets the job done, but it sounds very artificial. And since these headphones are obviously trying to control the amount of noise that comes in, and they are trying to focus on people's voices, the end result is that the Ambient Mode on the Ace sounds like you're underwater because people's voices end up sounding very muffled. Whereas both of Sony's headphones have much more natural sounding Ambient Modes, and you can adjust how much noise they let in. But also, both of Sony's headphones have extra features like speak to chat, which work like this. Hello there. So this is speak to chat. Basically, when you start talking, these headphones will automatically lower the volume of your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you so that you can talk to someone without even to have to touch the headphones themselves. Now, these headphones will stay in this state for a preset determined amount of time, which you can adjust through the app, or you can manually cancel speak to chat by double tapping on the touchpad like this. Now, overall, speak to chat has been improved lately. It's not as easy to accidentally activate it as it was before, but personally, I still prefer to use quick attention, which is where if you fully cover the touchpad on either of these two headphones, these headphones are going to automatically lower the volume of your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you, like this. And then when you let go, the headphones will go back to normal again. Now, I still prefer quick attention over speak to chat because it's a lot more intentional. But regardless, I like that both of Sony's headphones have these features because it's great when you're traveling because you can quickly talk to someone without having to fully remove your headphones. And this is something that is just missing on the Sonos Ace. But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, the microphone on the Sony 1000XM4s isn't the best, but it sounds good enough to take phone calls with while in a quiet room. Whereas the microphone on the Sonos Ace has better clarity than the microphone found on the Sony 1000XM4s, but there is a little bit of white noise in the background. But then here's the microphone found on the Sony 1000XM5s, and this microphone has the best clarity here when it comes to taking phone calls while in a quiet room. But where the Sony 1000XM5s really shine is when it comes to blocking out noise pollution, because right now this microphone is doing a really good job of reducing all of this road noise. Because for comparison's sake, if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear all of this road noise. But if we were to switch back over to the Sony 1000XM5s, it is severely reduced. Now, the Sonos Ace also does a good job of reducing all of this road noise, but not as good of a job as the Sony 1000XM5s. But then here are the Sony 1000XM4s, and these are not doing a good job here whatsoever. There's just a lot of interference going on with my voice. And it's the same thing when it comes to blocking out chatter. There's just a lot of interference with the Sony 1000XM4. And it's the same thing with the Sonos Ace. There is just a lot of interference here when it comes to blocking out all of this chatter. But then here are the Sony 1000XM5s, and these do a much better job of blocking out all of this chatter. Because for comparison's sake, if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you can clearly hear all of this chatter. But if we were to switch back over to the Sony 1000XM5s, it is severely reduced. Overall, both the Sonos Ace and Sony 1000XM4s, those are better suited to take phone calls with while you're in a quiet room. Whereas with the Sony 1000XM5s, these do a much better job of dealing with noise pollution. But with all that being said, the Sonos Ace are a great first try from Sonos. They have great build quality, they come with a great thin and hard case, and I really appreciate that they come with both a USB-C and audio jack cables. However, these headphones sound very bright and they don't have all that much kick in their bass, making them boring to listen to music with or to watch movies. Yes, they block out a lot of noise, but they don't block out as much noise as either of Sony's headphones, and they have a lot more carbon pressure than Sony's headphones. Personally, for me, it is hard to justify and to recommend the Sonos Ace, and I really feel that you are much better off going with either of Sony's headphones. Now, if you want to travel and you want to block out the most amount of noise, then you do want to go with the Sony 1000XM5s. But personally, I still prefer to fly with the XM4s because they have a smaller case and they're more comfortable because their ear pads are more spacious and their headband has more padding. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.